Hi, Paul Donovan here from avtechnicians.ca. Thank you for watching my channel. This is the channel where we're giving tips and tricks to AV technicians and those who would like to be an AV technician. Today, my topic is talking about ceiling speakers in ballrooms, meeting rooms, and convention centers. As an AV technician going into rooms where we're doing banquets, meetings, and conferences, oftentimes we're using the built-in sound system that is provided by the room, such as in a ballroom and so on. And these built-in systems are usually set up with speakers in the ceiling so that they're distributed around the room to have a fairly equal balance of sound. There is no louder at the front versus the back and so on. This is a great convenience for the meeting that really doesn't need any special technicians involved, because it's very easy for the hotel staff just to plug in the podium microphone in the wall, turn it on, and they have sound. This sound is also good only primarily for vocal words, for talking. Occasionally you can do a little video playback and a little music, a little background music, but generally the sound system that's built in is designed to work well with spoken word. Now, as an AV technician going in, of course, if we're going to an event, it means there's a whole lot more technical equipment being brought in. More microphones, a lot of wireless lavaliers or headset mics. There may be instruments that are playing in a band. There may be a whole lot more involved in what's happening. Now, if it gets too complicated, the ceiling speakers are just not going to provide you enough sound quality for what you want to do. In those situations, you would want to bring in your own PA system, your own speaker setup, so that you have a whole lot more control. Now, I'm going to do another video soon about how to work with your own PA system, your own sound system in a ballroom. But for now, I'm going to talk about using the ceiling speakers of a built-in system that is in a lot of ballrooms, meeting rooms, and convention centers. The ceiling speakers in a ballroom and meeting room oftentimes are not very high quality speakers. Once in a while you'll get somebody that will buy the nice professional speakers, but they go cheap on the amplifiers and the other things that are in place. Oftentimes also the sound system is built into an older hotel. Oftentimes it's also quite old, and oftentimes it's things that are broken or not working. One of the worst things that works with the hotel built-in system is the staff who like to play and tinker with things even if they have no idea what they're doing. And many's the time you'll find cable jacks are broken, or you'll even find the amplifiers are turned off. So you'd always got to be ready for the surprises that can happen when you go into a hotel ballroom, meeting room, or conference center. Most of the PA systems that are built into the hotel meeting rooms and conference centers are usually built in with jacks that are either on the wall or in a floor plate. And these jacks are, generally speaking, an XLR connection. And this is where you will, of course, feed in your connection coming off your mixer board, and you'll want it to come out to the wall at a mic level signal. Very few locations have a line level situation happening when they have an XLR jack. Remember, this is designed to allow for simplicity for the hotel staff to be able to plug in a podium microphone directly into the wall without having to be very technology oriented. But when a technician goes into a hotel, we're bringing in a lot of extra gear, and all we do is we plug into that one wall jack. Now, I have been to hotels where, especially some of the more rural cities, where the wall jack is actually a couple of banana clip connections, where you're hooking up a line level feed to a banana clips, or RCA jacks is the other type. You got to be ready for those. Always want to keep in your kit is the adapters to bring your sound coming off of your mixer board into, say, banana clips, although those are rare, as well as the RCA type feed. A few hotels I've gone into have also used the mini jack that is quite popular for sound coming off of the side of, say, your laptop and so on. That's really scary when you have a microphone trying to plug into a mini jack. We don't like to see that very often. Now, if your event is very sound critical, either the clarity of the sound is needed to be clear, or you've got a band that's playing, or some type of a lot of video playback, you might want to consider not using the built-in sound system, but to bring in your own sound system that you have a whole lot more control on. I'll be talking a little in another video about using your own PA system, but for now, we're going to talk about the ceiling speakers. In a lot of ballrooms, they use air walls to divide the rooms, and therefore you need to be able to link the sound or separate the sound between each of the sections when they're separated or when they're joined together. So quite often there may be a wall jack inside the ballroom or a wall jack inside the PA room where you will link together the 2 or 3 parts of the ballroom in different combinations. Oftentimes when you are plugging in the wall jack in a specific ballroom, that is the wall jack that controls the volume for all the rooms if they're linked together. I've often seen, I've not often, but a few times seen situations where you may have the volume set perfectly for the middle jack of, say, the middle ballroom, and as soon as you link in the other 2 ballrooms, the sound volume changes considerably, especially on events where, as the course of the event goes on, they're going to be dividing the rooms up. You will often find that the sound will vary depending on how the rooms are linked together. So do pay attention to that, because that has hurt me a couple of times when I've done events where the rooms are dividing up randomly throughout the day. Many ballrooms are very interesting spaces for acoustics. Most ballrooms have carpeted floors, sometimes a quite thick carpet, which absorbs an awful lot of sound. But then you add in tables and chairs, and then you add in 2, 3, 4, even 500 people in there. Your acoustics really change from the time when you set up, when its room is empty, to the time when the event is happening. So you need to be prepared to have enough volume to deal with having a bunch of people clanking their dishes, eating and talking, while somebody on the stage is trying to get their attention. This is why in the built-in ceiling speaker situation, it should not be an event where what's happening on the stage is overly more important than what's happening on the floor. But if you do have to use the ceiling speakers, you need to be prepared to turn up the volume as the event starts to overcome all the additional acoustical things that happen. Now, just to talk about acoustics, I'm going to tell you about an event I did at a convention center in the middle part of British Columbia a few years back. I arrived by surprise to discover that the floor in this convention center was the wooden sports floor, because it was a combination convention center and a sports arena. I was absolutely shocked, because I've always gone to ballrooms where there's been carpeted floors. And we had not planned on the fact that it's a wood floor and all the noise that goes with it. You got people walking around with their heels and shoes making noise, tables and chairs banging against the ground, everything magnifies. On top of which, up in the ceiling, they had no acoustical bats or tiles in place, and so that we had sound bouncing around in the rafters along with sound bouncing off the hardwood floor. In that situation, I had arrived with my own PA system, and so I was able to adjust things eventually. It took me a while during the first part of the first meeting event. It took me a while to tweak it, but eventually I got the sound to deal with all of that bouncing of sound and the noise that was happening. But that entire event was really a challenge, in this case, because of the hardwood floor and the lack of any sound baffles in the ceiling. So these are things to watch out for when you're planning to go to a place. If you're going to use the built-in ceiling speakers, well, be prepared for all sorts of unusual surprises, failed equipment, wires that are broken, jacks that don't work. You may have to plug a jack in halfway around the room, several hundred feet away. So be prepared for that. Or if you walk into a space and have the surprise of a hardwood floor or a tiled floor, and you've suddenly got to deal with a lot of echoing sound that can really disrupt the overall sound of an event. So there you have it, some tips about how to deal with ceiling speakers. This is Paul Donovan from avtechnician.ca. Please don't forget to like and subscribe our channel. Check out our website at www.avtechnician.ca, where we have the same stories we have here, and have other stories about tips and tricks to become an AV technician. Thank you and have a nice day.